Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. My producer has alerted me to a lovely thing on the internet with Tim Henson from Polyphia doing some guitar stuff, talking about bar chords, I think, and other things. I haven't watched it yet, but she urged me to watch and react, gave me no further pointers, so today I'm going to be looking at Tim Henson talking about guitar stuff and reacting to it. Looking forward to it. Are you? Yeah, I thought so. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. He's wearing a brilliant jumper again. I know. Sorry, I've been told off for just focusing on his jumper. I think he's just a really stylish person. He's got the hair and the jumper. It's really cool.
I'm Tim Henson.
Wow, that was cool, wasn't it?
Premier Guitar asks, what's a riff that sounds easy but is actually hard to play? John Mayer's Neon. Doesn't sound that difficult. And then you watch him play it, he's just got his thumb stretched all the way up here, and it's incredible. So he frets the root of the chords with his thumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thumb rooting is a thing. It's a thing a lot of I don't know, older blues rock guitar players do, I reckon. And the person that was doing it a hell of a lot was Hendrix, I think. You always see him with his thumb coming over there. And yet his elbow isn't up there like my brother at the dinner table when he was 4 years old. You know, it's like that. But you can do a lot of stuff with your thumb. Enough about forget it.
From Pedro C. Gallardo, what the are boomer bends?
Oh yeah, boomer bends. What is this?
Is a term coined by Rick Beato and I. It describes a very specific guitar bending lick commonly used in music from the 60s and 70s, the age of the baby boomer.
yeah, okay. Oh yeah. So he's talking about this one.
The more twang you give it, and the more like old guy you make it sound, the more boomery it is, I suppose.
Yeah, it's an old school lick, definitely. It's in the pentatonic scale, so it's pretty much like beginner's blues rock, really. It's one of the most common phrases you're going to hear. Every guitar player in the world, boomer or otherwise, will have played that at some point, and I'm sure Tim Henson is no exception. He just played it there. You don't have to be a boomer to use that lick. It's really effective, particularly in the realms of blues and rock.
But we didn't make that term in an offensive way.
I didn't take it as an offensive thing.
It's more so just like it starts with a B.
Aha, so it's alliteration. I always attempt alliteration. That's just what I do.
And bend starts with a B. So
brilliant.
It became a catchy phrase.
Brilliant starts with a B as well.
In that way, and I think a lot of baby boomers got upset at.
Baby boomers who get upset about that term need to get out more, really.
Playguitar_bass asks, what makes a great guitar solo? For me, how memorable the solo is, and if you can sing the solo.
Yes, I think I agree with both of those points. Yeah. The same goes for riffs, I think, as well. Like, you'd be able to sing a riff, then you're off, aren't you?
For example, I think the guitar solo from Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the best guitar solos of time. If you can sing with it.
He's got that. Last time I listened to Queen, it didn't go like this. That's the Tim Henson vibrato technique. Here's the Brian May. It's a bit faster in the wobble, you know.
Upgrade versus upscale. Is upgrading a cheap guitar worth it, or are expensive guitars just a scam?
Ooh. There is something reassuring about an expensive guitar, but is it any better? This is a good question. What does Tim think?
I personally do not think that expensive guitars are a scam. I think after a certain price point, that's about as good as the guitar is going to get. You can find really, really great guitars with what I call mojo. Those instruments just have a great feeling. You can find those for under $500. $1,000 to $1,500 mark is where you're going to have like a fairly like intermediate. It's going to be a good guitar. And then after $2,000 and up is kind of where you're going to find like really well-crafted guitars, and they're intonated better. So for example,
So I think he's talking about the quality of Louvier. I had a conversation with somebody about this earlier. Like there was a bit of snobbery about which country of origin the wood or the guitar itself has. You know, like especially in say for example the Fender range, when you've got things that are made in perhaps Japan or Mexico. But all the sort of master building Louviers and stuff are in America. I think they're in Southern California somewhere. And it makes you think, well, all the best people are you know, concentrated in the American factory. So that's where you want to get a guitar from. I don't think it's as much about the wood, it's about the, I don't know, the talent of the. I mean, I think I'm probably mostly talking about the custom shop. The Fender custom shop makes just brilliant stuff, because the guys that work there are passionate Louviers. This is what they live for. And in other places, it might be. Who knows? I mean, I remember I bought a PV bass once. It was like $100, and it just sounded amazing. It was beating the bass that I used on a lot of other stuff, you know, which was an expensive bass.
hitting the harmonic of the 12th fret, and then hitting the 12th fret, and how well those match together is how
Yeah,
well.
that's the intonation. But I mean, I think some of that's adjustable with the truss rod and stuff. Oh, it's perfect. The old Atkin. Go on, boy. That's lovely.
Intonated that guitar is. For example, this guitar. It's pretty well intonated. If we were to pick up a cheaper guitar and see how well this one is intonated. Well, you can tell that it's not the best intonated, but it's not terrible. If you're going to be performing in front of a crowd and you want a stable workhorse, probably want to spend a little bit more on your guitar.
Yeah, so there is something reassuringly expensive about the top end of guitars, but it's to do with the craftsmanship and the materials involved. Having said that, Brian May's one came out of a fireplace, didn't it? He made it with his dad, I think, right? Is that the thing? That's the you know, my dad built a guitar. It was a bass, short scale. Sounded like a piece of shit.
Blues Web Radio asks, what does the tone knob actually do? The tone knob is a high cut filter, so when you turn it down, it's going to cut a lot of the high frequencies. So for example, I'm going to play a riff with the tone knob all the way up. Tone knob all the way down.
I like that toned down vibe. It's makes it really subtle, doesn't it? Doesn't twang in the same way. It's nice. It's weird how, like, you know, he has got like this unique approach to playing guitar, but the sounds that he uses, it's really just a bit of saturation and delay. You know, it's not like it's got pitch shifting and stuff going on it. I mean, that's a fancy looking guitar, but it sounds like a Strat, doesn't it? With like one of the middle pickup settings.
Simon V Radio DJ asks, right, so can the guitar players out there explain different tunings for guitars?
Yeah, I reckon he's got a fancy tuning. I'm curious about what that is.
So there's probably a million different tunings out there. The most common one that you're going to see is E standard, and that's
the one I do. It's just boring, I suppose. I'm the boomer. What can I tell you?
The next most common one is probably going to be E flat.
What's this? A flat stand? I've never heard of this.
Standard. That one you'll see a lot in older rock music.
Yeah, I love older rock music. I've never seen this tuning. Tell me what it is.
Tune the guitar down just by one half step so that the singer wouldn't have to belt.
Oh yeah, okay. We've talked about that before. That's actually what Guns N' Roses do, isn't it?
It's hard. It just gives it a little bit of a darker sound when it's down to.
Yeah, it makes the guitar sound a bit more powerful, makes the singer's life easier, in theory.
The next most common one is drop D, or any dropped tuning where your low string is going to go down a whole.
Yeah, so it makes a power chord when you just hit a bar across the first two strings, right?
That nice thing about that is that you're able to do power chords, which is the root, the fifth, and the octave.
Actually, that's the def chord.
You'll be able to play those with just one finger.
One finger, baby. One finger. Django Reinhardt style, although he had two fingers. Half Django. It's a half Django. Semi-Django.
Feller NJ asks, you'll like pinch harmonics?
Yeah, of course he does.
I love pinch harmonics. They're awesome. If you want to learn how to do a pinch harmonic, first up, you're going to switch your pickup selection all the way to the bridge pickup.
That's the one that sounds the most trebly. It's the rock power one, really.
And with your right hand, you basically take the pick and you're going to hit the string twice. Once with the pick, once with your thumb for one swift act.
See, I've never done it like that. I've always, just because I've had to teach myself to pinch harmonics. Like he's talking about using your thumb so it sort of goes a bit flush of the, or just a bit out from the plectrum a little. So then it hits that first and then it hits that. But actually, what I do is I do this one. So the harmonic is being hit by my nail, the nail of my... Yeah. So I use my nail on the third finger. I don't know. It's not what you're supposed to do, but you know. When have I ever done what you're supposed to do? I should probably do that sometimes. Sounds really good. It's really reliable technique, that. Everyone who does it with the thumb like that just seems to have more success hitting those pinch harmonics. Sometimes I'm going for one and then just dead note. It's horrible. But, you know, I was brought up in a different era, I suppose, when men were men. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just didn't learn it properly.
Nathan Relax says, I have no idea what makes a good guitar tone and it annoys me. It has everything to do with taste and using your ears. Because I remember when I was 10 years old, I could not hear what the bass guitar was doing. I just couldn't distinguish it between the guitar and the bass guitar. And then, just a year later, I was like, okay, I can clearly hear that now, and I don't know what was wrong with me. Now I've been on this earth long enough to understand what a good mix is and why it's a good mix. Listening to a lot of music and comparing mixes and comparing guitar tones will help you on your journey to crafting a good...
I would actually recommend listening to the second Black Crowes record. I know it's old school. That Southern, what's it called again? The Southern one. And it was produced by George Drakoulias, I think. But I love the guitar tones in there. You can tell they're using loads of different amps and authentic there's all kinds of tellies and strats and Les Pauls and 335s and 12 strings in there. It just sounds really cool. And there's a rainbow of tone to help you decide what it is you like to hear from your guitar. The other one I like is Rory Gallagher. Just a little combo amp, the same Strat for years and years, and just all about his fingers and the tone of that amp. Brian May always uses Vox AC30s. Angus Young uses Wizard amps that are designed to look and sound a bit like Marshalls, I suppose. I don't know. There's so much excitement. I mean, I think I agree with Tim. Just listen to music, listen to stuff, and see what you like. Find out what they're doing, and then do your own version of it.
Pneumonia27 asks, do I need to know music theory in order to write songs? I think a lot of the best songwriters of all time probably didn't know any music theory. I myself do not know a good amount of music theory, and if you have any melody in your head and you write it down, you're writing music right there. So no, you do not need to know music theory at all to write songs.
Agreed. Well, I've evidently got through quite a lot of this. The thing about the booms, the bends and the booms, I mean, I've seen a lot of guitar players that are sort of doing this stuff. You see them sort of like, I can't see my fingers there. And they do this kind of, and you see their hand moving around like that. I mean, it sounds great, but it's an interesting way to phrase stuff. But I feel like when you do that, sliding between the frets, the increments are always going to be a semitone apart. So it does that sort of, you know, you can hear a sort of rattle as it goes through those increments, albeit super quickly. And the thing about the boomer bend, it hits a lot of dissonant stuff in between the notes, the space between the notes. That's where we operate. That's where psychopaths like myself operate. I mean, it's not about being in tune in those instances. It's about expressing yourself. And the slower it takes to get up there, the more it turns me on. Why is that? Because I'm a f***ing pervert. I'm just kidding. No, you know what I mean, though. It's like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I think people who are from my generation are upset about the boomer bit, but I don't give a shit. It's just what it is, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure that Tim Henson knows about bends and utilises them, albeit more sparingly than a boomer, but, you know, they'll be in there somewhere. Just got to listen out for them. So it's interesting stuff. I mean, this is a guy that's revolutionising the way people approach guitar. So to hear him talk about stuff like tone and you know, various different techniques, it's really cool. And especially that thing about all the fingers, that got me thinking. I usually do the Mark Knopfler where it's the claw. I just use the thumb and maybe these two a bit, and sometimes I use this one. Hardly ever use that one in picking, but I really should. And to see the way he does that is quite inspiring. So I'm going to go away and practice a little bit. I recommend you do the same thing. If you like guitars, then check out the full thing. We'll put a link to it down there. Meanwhile, see you on the ice, and lots of love to you. Cheers, nice one. Justin Hawkins writes again. Just think if I used all my fingers. Yeah, he's right. Nice one, Tim. Cheers for the tip. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Watch one of these two videos, and see you on the ice. Cheers.